My C2R1 Arlecchino is my pride and joy with the exception of one teeny tiny part. Her build is kind of mid, for my standards at least. If I invested so much into her pulls, I should invest just as much into her stats, right? With the release of Arlecchino's rerun banner, I thought that this would be the perfect time for me to fix my Arlecchino. If you enjoy cozy Genshin videos like this one, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as join our cozy Discord. If you're an Arlecchino haver, I'm sure you are very well aware of the pain and misery caused by the harmonic whimsy artifact domain, otherwise known as GeoShield Hell. Because of how much I despise this domain, I never really got around to perfecting my Arlecchino the way that she deserves. But today, I will be spending a bunch of my Mora into leveling up her talents, as well as taking the plunge into the domain of whimsy and despair. So taking a look at my Arlecchino build, she is level 90, she is R1, she is on the 4-piece harmonic whimsy, and she is C2. By the way, if you guys are considering getting Arlecchino constellations, her C1 is really good because it provides her some additional damage as well as interruption resistance, which is very, very useful for someone as squishy as Arlecchino since she's unable to heal. Her C2 is also great for additional damage as well as just a quality of life, because when you apply her blood debt directive, which is her skill, you don't have to wait the 5 seconds or whatever to immediately absorb it and then start doing your bond of life damage. So me personally, I do think that Arlecchino's C1 and C2 are both very good constellations to invest in if that is something that you're interested in. Anyway, going back to my Arlecchino, her normal attack is crowns and her skill and burst are level 8. I don't know if I'll be able to triple crown it with the resources that I have, but I'm definitely gonna level up both of them to level 9 at the very least, so I'll do that in just a moment. So this is my Arlecchino's stats. Her crit ratio is 81 to 192, and I know that that's not a bad build by any means. However, given the amount of investment I put into her, I do wish that her stats were a little bit higher. I do want to get her crit rate above 80%, maybe like closer to 90, and I would love for her crit damage to approach 200% as well. Also, since I'll be using Arlecchino on a melt team, if I'm not using her on an overload team, having some elemental mastery is also not a bad idea. So with that, I am going to start with her talents, and then we'll go on over to the artifact domain. I do have the battle pass, so I'm gonna first start off with claiming the battle pass items here, or the battle pass talent materials. So she does take the guide to order, so I'm just gonna grab as many of these to see if it's gonna be enough for Arlecchino. Okay, so I grabbed as many of her talent books as I could, so I'm just gonna go on over to the crafting table and let's see how much we can level up her talents. Okay, I will filter by character here and choose Arlecchino, and then we'll get her elemental skill. Alright, so let's level up her skill to level 9. There goes all my Mora. And then let me see if I have enough materials to get her burst to level 9 as well, and it looks like I don't really have enough, so I am gonna need to farm for these books a little bit. So let me just go on over to the domain. So I'm just gonna use an overload Arlecchino team for this domain. So we use Fischl, Chevreuse, and Bennett. Now, because I do have C2, I don't technically need to use Arlecchino's skill in the beginning there. However, I just decided to do it so that way I can apply some pyro in order for Chevreuse to get that overload bullet. I am going to need a decent amount of books here, so we'll have to repeat this just a couple of times. It's a pretty quick clear with this team, which is good. The only issue with this domain is that these guys do kind of a lot of damage to your characters. As you can see, my Arlecchino is like almost dying, so I'm gonna have to use her burst next if she doesn't die from this burning damage. Alright, let's revive her and heal her up as well by feeding her some food. And continuing with the domain. I'm not really sure how many times I need to do it, so I might check after this one. Let's hope that that was enough, and let me go back over to the crafting table. And perfect, we do have just enough. So let me go over to her talent menu and then we will level up her burst to level 9. Her burst isn't really that important to level. It does do a pretty big amount of damage. However, if you've seen those like nuke showcases of Arlecchino, those are typically gonna be at C6 because I believe that her burst only does like that insane damage, like millions of damage that you might have seen at her C6. So before her C6, her burst is just like, you know, use it as an emergency healing situation, but don't really rely on it too much. Right, so now that we've got her talents leveled up, that was pretty quick, honestly, but I don't think I will invest into triple crowning her today just because that would use so much more of my resin, which I do want to focus on her artifacts with that resin. So let me just show you what I have on her artifacts right now before I head into the domains. Like I said, her build isn't bad by any means. However, if I can min-max it a little bit more, I'd be willing to donate some of my resin to her stats. So this is her flower. We have 2 crit damage rolls, and then obviously those 2 HP rolls are a little unfortunate, so that's where this one can be improved. Her feather is pretty good, so I don't really feel the need to replace her feather as of now, but we'll see later. And then her attack sans is also pretty good, so I might leave this untouched depending on what we get. Her pyro damage goblet, this is kind of the problem child, I will say. It's not terrible, right? Like we do have 2 crit damage rolls, I guess. The only sad part is that I did use signifying elixir for 2 separate pyro damage goblets. This was before we got the feather re-rolling thing, which is why I wasn't able to re-roll one of these before. And obviously both of them are like kind of mid. You know, they both have rolls into other stats. This one in particular is quite bad. This one was sad. This one is like kind of mid, right? We do not need that much defense on Arlecchino despite her lack of healing and whatever. But anyway, we have an off piece on her circlet simply because I don't have a good option for an onset circlet, but this circlet is like quite good. I'll say it does have 3 crit damage rolls, so I don't think I'll be able to do too much better than this if I happen to get an onset circlet. And also, as you can see, I do have quite a number of artifacts from this set already. In the recent Stygian Onslaught disturbance outbreak or whatever it's called, I was spending all my resin into this artifact. However, obviously I did not get anything that great, and I kept on getting artifacts for the Emily burning set. It's not really what I needed or what I wanted. So because of that, we are going back to the unfortunate harmonic whimsy domain here in Petrichor. If you guys have spent hours in this domain as much as I have for your Arlecchino builds or even for your Chlorand builds, it is those Geo Hilichurl guys with the Geo shields, them, and also the Geo statue guys. I'm sorry, I don't know like any of the enemy names. This is such an annoying domain, having the 2 waves of enemies with such fat shields. So because of that, I am gonna be using a geo-focused team. So what I'll do is I'll use Arlecchino obviously, and then I'll use Chiori and Shilonen, and then perhaps Bennett there for Arlecchino's damage. This might be okay. I might switch out Bennett if I find that the rotation is a little clunky with the 2 waves and his burst being kind of located in a bad spot, if you know what I mean. So we'll try this out. I think my Chiori is on the wrong weapon, so yeah, let me change my Chiori's weapon. I do use her on the Absolution. Also, I don't know if there's like a special like I don't know, shortcut or something to have these hilichurl guys like not separate so far. I really don't know about these guys. It's just so annoying. I think an overload team is also a good option here because I believe that the explosions will help with the shields. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so this is a pretty difficult domain time-wise. Our first feather is not a good sign for the rest of these, and of course the defense sand, so not a great start. I realize I don't really have to do Arlecchino's skill here in the beginning since I'm not using an overload team. Let me see if I can just get these guys without another rotation. Yeah, so this is a painful domain. And of course we did not get any of the harmonic whimsy artifacts here. I'm just gonna heal up my Arlecchino first and then continue here with the rest of my rotation. I'm not really sure if a overload team might be faster than this geo focus team, but I kind of wanted to use Chiori and Shilonen anyway. So this is our last condensed resin. Anemo damage goblet is not great. It does have EM, but no crit stats. And we have not great once again. Oh my god. There is no way. There is no way I just got this. And aren't these like the max crit stats as well? Wow, that is actually shocking. I'm gonna roll that. I'm gonna roll that right now and see what I get from it. That's pretty insane. Okay. All right, here goes nothing. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm speechless. Actually speechless right now. I can't believe that just happened. Wow. Okay, so we already solved the goblet problem. I was literally going to re-roll these with the feathers and maybe even sanctify a new one, but like, oh my gosh, that was insane. Okay, so with that, her stats are already much improved. I almost don't want to upgrade her other artifacts. You know what? Let's see what I can do here. Let's see if I can roll any other good pieces. I have this flower here that is okay. The crit damage is a bit low, but if I can roll full crit, maybe attack, that would be good. We'll try this. All right, attack. Crit rate is okay, and defense, see, this is where I would stop. I don't think it's worth leveling that up again. The rest of my flowers aren't really worth leveling. I could potentially re-roll one of these. I mean, our feather is pretty good. I could get slightly better stats if I was desperate enough. I'll leave my attack sand untouched because I don't think I have one on hand. Oh wait, I have this one. I did not even notice that. I don't know if it's worth leveling, but we'll try. Oh. Oh. We'll do it to 20. Dang. However, it is a few percentage points better than my current one. So, I mean, it's still a win. Let me see if I have maybe another off piece. Like this one, it does have EM. So I might go for this EM piece rather than this one with like a little bit extra crit damage. I do think that the EM is very important when I use her on a melt team. Yeah, we'll use this one for now. Okay, so with those upgrades that we just did, her stats are like kind of the same as what they were earlier when I just changed the pyro goblet, I think, but her EM did go down. I could potentially try to re-roll this feather, which like, I know it's not the best feather, but it does have EM. And yeah, we could still use a better flower. So maybe what I'll do is I can just strongbox some of those unnecessary whimsy pieces that I have. I have so many artifacts that need strongboxing, honestly, but I am just lazy, and this is like day 100 of me asking for the trash icon on the artifacts, please, Hoyo. Okay, so here is our first mystic offering. So we do need an improved feather as well as an improved flower. It doesn't look like... Oh wow, okay. Pretty good attack sand here, although we just rolled a good one already. Next mystic offering. We've got a defense goblet with double crit, as expected. And hey, this one is pretty good. Crit damage circlet, although Arlecchino does prefer a crit rate. And hey, look, we did get a good flower, but no EM stat, unfortunately. And okay. All right, one more mystic offering. Okay, double crit feather, but no EM, which is what I wanted. Another double crit defense. All right, so that's that for the mystic offerings. Let me go back to my artifacts and see what I can do. Let me try leveling this flower. Okay, the first roll was attack. All right, let's stop. Let's stop that one. Yeah, I mean, I could re-roll. I don't know. I kind of want to try re-rolling this one with the EM. I know technically, since it's only a 3-liner, like it only got 4 rolls and not 5, and the crit damage roll is kind of low. It's not really the best to re-roll, but I'm willing. Let's try. And it is a feather, so it only requires one feather for the feather. Okay. Oh, so this is gonna drop our crit rate by a decent amount, which I don't want. This is kind of a tough call. I'm just gonna go with the new one, and I don't know, I might just re-roll it again if I need to. I could try just leveling this one up all the way and then re-rolling it. Let's level this one up. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Oh my god, this is the worst artifact that could have happened, or the worst rolls that could have happened. Let's try rolling this one because it does have really high base crit stats. There's no way. This is pretty yucky. Not what I wanted. Let's put on our new gear, even though I did not love those rolls, and then see what happens. Okay, 63 EM, but our crit rate did go down to 83. Earlier it was like 88 or 89, and then crit damage went up. Let's try again. Let's try again. I'm kind of scared to re-roll this one, but you know what? I have a lot of feathers. I'm just gonna do it. Oof. Okay, so with this one we do get the EM, which I don't mind, and our crit damage is lowered, which is also fine because I was like past 200. However, our crit rate is still a little bit lacking. Maybe I will re-roll this flower one more time. Oh my god, all my feathers. We'll re-roll this one more time. It can't be worse than this, right? It was low-key worse than this. Because I need that crit rate to go back up. I could try strongboxing a few more times. Here goes another mystic offering. Double crit HP goblet. I'll just lock it. Let's a lot of flowers, but none of them are very good. Okay, and hey, double crit cryo goblet could be a good off piece for somebody. Although I didn't get any flowers here. Another double crit attack sand. Look, not that I'm ungrateful, but it's like the last thing that I need. And continuing with the offerings here. Yeah. The flowers are really avoiding me. Yeah, these are haunting me. These are haunting me. Yeah, these are not looking great so far. I do still have a lot of stuff to donate. I swear I got this exact same goblet in the last one. I wouldn't mind some options for Chlorand too, because Chlorand is yes, a new flower. Okay, Chlorand is not on the Whimsy set, which I want her to be. Okay, let's try rolling this. Okay, crit rate is good. HP is not good. Yeah, no, that was not good. At this point, I'm like just thinking about re-rolling these again. I do want her crit rate to get up there. I could have potentially stopped re-rolling earlier. I feel like I had a pretty decent build earlier from one of my earlier re-rolls, but I had to keep going. I don't know. I'm gonna try re-rolling this one again. Oh my god. I know you guys probably think I'm like wasting all my feathers, but like whatever. Oh my god, yes. Yes, that's what I want. Yes, okay, wait. So with that, I could maybe just go back to the original flower that she was on. And I am struggling a little. I don't know if one of my earlier builds was like way better than what I have right now, but okay, I'm gonna chill for now, and I will be back tomorrow and go back to the domains. I might have wasted a bunch of resources today, but that's okay because it was for Arlecchino, so I'll be back tomorrow. I'm back. So I did do some strongboxing off camera and I was able to get a pretty good flower, kind of exactly what I wanted, so we'll roll that in just a moment here. First, on today's agenda though, I am gonna use my resin of the day, one more rotation in the Whimsy domain. We'll just go ahead and use the same team, and I do have 3 condensed resin and then a little bit of original resin remaining, so hopefully this will be over very quickly. I did not finish killing this guy. I thought I was done. Okay. There we go. And that is a lot of the other artifact set. First claim was not great. Oh my god, this domain, I have nothing to say. It's terrible. And with the next one, I mean, this is a pretty good circlet. Not that it's what I need for today. Alright, last condensed resin, and let's see, nothing good here either. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a lot of good pieces in the domain runs today, but let me show you the artifact that I got from the strongbox earlier, and that is this one. So double crit and EM. Let's try rolling this and hopefully it will roll well. If it doesn't, I don't mind re-rolling it. So let's go. Oh wow. This is kind of a crazy flower. What the heck? 4 EM rolls? Okay, that got me to 170 EM. So after rolling artifacts for a few minutes, this is what I landed on. I've decided to hold on to this flower with the extra EM, see where it gets me. I can always re-roll it if I really need to in the future. And then I'm going to use this feather. Here we have 4 rolls into crit, which I think is pretty good. I rolled a new attack sands just now, and then I got 4 rolls here into crit as well. So I think this is a really solid attack sands. And of course we do have that pyro damage goblet from earlier, and I am keeping this off piece circlet as well. So with these pieces, my final stats come out to a ratio of 97 to 185 with 133 EM. I do wish I was able to get some higher crit damage because I did say I wanted to approach the 200%. However, I guess I just sacrificed some of that in order to get some EM, which will help me when I'm using melt teams. And me personally, I just don't really like switching out artifacts and stuff, which is why I am hellbent on doing this kind of hybrid-ish build rather than giving her like a EM focused melt build on top of having a separate like attack focused overload build. And you know what, I am thankful enough that I'm able to get these numbers on set, on the harmonic whimsy set. I do still consider her build a slight work in progress. This is better than what I had originally, so it is an improvement for sure. Overall, I am happy about it. Let me test her out in some combat. Okay, we'll just do the first half of floor 12 chamber 1. I know it's a bloom damage increase here, so it's not really catered for Arlecchino, but let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go for a melt team, I think, just to make use of that EM that we just got. And I'm just gonna use this like defensive buff here rather than getting the EM one, just to kind of see Arlecchino's like raw damage here. Okay. I mean, so far it looks pretty good to me. Oh no, I don't have enough energy. What the? For Bennett. Okay. Okay, I wasted a little bit of time there, unfortunately, for the rotation. I mean, still a very fast clear by my standards, so that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna try the third battlefield of the Stygian Onslaught. This is the team I used to beat the Fearless mode initially, so I'm just gonna use the same rotation here and see if I can improve the time at all. I don't know. Okay, so I did end up getting a new record here, faster by about 9 seconds, which I guess is pretty good. Okay, I mean, I guess that's my new Arlecchino build. Hopefully I can continue to improve it as I keep on playing and keep on farming this domain. I do really want to get a set for Chlorand, so perhaps I should be able to whip something up for Arlecchino as well. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick fixing video for my Arlecchino. Let me know down below in the comments if you pulled for Arlecchino or Zhongli on this rerun banner, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel as well. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.